We go out in the field. We've been all over this country in the last 2 years.
Standing Rock. I've been with you. I've been with you since Standing Rock.
Wow, you got me on right now. We're doing it, baby. We're going to South Bend. It's time to show the real Mayor Pete.
In 100 days, they tore down 1,000 houses in 100 days.
Thank you, whether it's Standing Rock or Flint or everything else you do. You know, you guys, it's not even like watching news. It's just watching truth, you know.
It's not me and you, Jordan. It's the ruling class. It's David Koch. It's the Walton family, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. It's them, not us, that benefit from these illegal offensive wars.
Come on over here. Whoa!
We're here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and you are going to see live the actual caucus process. We are here.
We go out in
continue to be on the menu. I don't want to have to lose everything that we worked really hard for. We've been struggling for 5 years, and then we finally got everything together, and it just instantly went away. I don't want to
Literally
have to
driving
lose
across the
everything that we
country
worked
during the
really hard
pandemic,
for.
talking to
We've
people,
been
finding
struggling.
out what's going on.
There are people such as yourself and other people that are telling the true story of what has happened.
All of these black people have been assassinated by police in this city, and none of them have been brought to justice.
People don't really care about those things in places where, we're not New York, we're not Chicago, we're not Minneapolis, we're Louisville, Kentucky.
If somebody calls you screaming for help in 911, they never treated her. They never came to her apartment, nothing.
Vote and do what's right in your heart, because change comes from within. So as long as your heart is pure and you're doing what's right, that's what matters.
Once upon a time, there was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. As they shift to oligarchy, came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
What up, what up, what up? Jordan Sheridan, live Monday, April 5th, 2021. Hope everybody's having a lovely, lovely start to your week. I hope everybody is being safe. I do have a special guest today, but first I wanted the camera to be on me to show you. Do you see a little something, something? You see a little something, something here? Status Coup, back. I'll let you take a guess. We have brought back a fan favorite into the studio. I don't know how it looks. I think it looks good. We kind of have a little contrast. There's light on me. The flag has light on it, but a little darker to show you the darkness that surrounds our supposed democracy. Jen, you could turn your mic back on, by the way. What do you think? What do you think of this new studio? I mean, the flag is now out of the shot because we're, whatever they call it, double box. But people could see. I'll turn it back now. People could see we brought the United Corporations of America flag back. I hope it's not too busy with too many things going on, but I think it looks good. We have a little.
No, I like it.
Yeah. We have a little plant behind me. By the way, if you didn't see our live stream on, Saturday night, Ty, who was originally with us many, many years ago, he did all of this. So we really appreciate, the lighting and the audio and the flag and everything he did for us. And who knows? Maybe we'll have him back, do a little more regular old school with Ty, since the audience likes him. But I hope.
So I have to say, like, when they were configuring things, and at first they had some true behind the scenes. At first they had the flag directly next to the brick. And
Oh,
Jordan sent a picture, and I was like, that's too busy. And Jordan agreed, like, that was too busy. Oh, and that says those are the violets. You took the violets you got enough for Valentine's Day for the studio?
you
That's
know,
horrible.
Anat made me look very bad just now, my wife. In fairness, Ty said we just need a plant just to see how it looks. And I just forgot to put that plant back. So that was the plants. Those are the plants that I got Anat for Valentine's Day. But I actually think it's good to have on the set, Anat, because it means you're with us and our love is part of the broadcast. I think, I'll have to.
I think you owe her like another plant or something.
Probably.
Like you can. That phrase is very nice, but you have to get her something in addition now.
Well,
anyway, like at first,
we are planning a bit of a honeymoon, so I think I could get her something for that as well. But yeah, you're right. Go on.
Yeah, that sounds very nice. So it there were a couple like iterations of this, but I think it looks really good the way it is now. So yeah, Ty was back and it was cute. Yeah, and that's right. Like plants do need sunlight. So I don't know what your plans are there. You might need to get a fake plant. Like
I think we're gonna have to hire a botanist, so we could have a rotation of plants and make sure they stay alive.
It doesn't take like people learn in kindergarten that plants need sunlight. So that's not really a botanist's job.
Aren't there plants that don't need sunlight and we could just have a regular house plant?
Now, house plants people put in sunlight. Like if you notice in your house, like Anat has them lined up by the windows because that's where sun is. Did you not? You didn't. You didn't think about that. But yeah, so yeah, a fake plant there. But anyway, I think it looks good, and also people should check out your live with Ty. It was like an impromptu live, but it was pretty fun. And Ty has another job now, but it was really a sense of like old school coup. That was pretty fun. So I think the studio looks good. I don't know.
So well, before we get to the first topic, by the way, smash that like button, please. Tony getting us started. I'm not beyond begging. We need some money. I'm just keeping it real. We need some help. It's been tough sledding recently here at the Coup. So please, if you got it, if you don't, we understand. But if you do have a couple bucks, drop it in the super chat. Do it for Jen, if not me. Thank you, Tony. East Coast, 1999. Hashtag Status Coup speaks for me. Well, I'm happy to speak for you. Think for yourself, but we'll speak for you for sure. Sam.
Look at these super chats already. Good.
If Sam is in the super chat, if you don't mind sending me the super chats as I go, and I'll read them towards the end. Andre, $20. Does someone have inside with the two-hand them the memo? But we will organize. We're gonna get to them, and hopefully they're watching AOC, Birdie, and the rest of the gang. Because I don't know. I just headlined this live stream, Earth to the Left, because I feel like I'm just in the Twilight Zone. And Jen, you're a lot nicer to me, but I think you actually
you have your moment.
You're nicer than me, but I think we're on the same page on this. So we'll get right to it. But first of all, smash that like button. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see the live stream. Jen, just let the people know because they're going to ask. A lot of people think when you're on camera that, oh, Jen's back and everything's dandy. Unfortunately, COVID is a real, especially long haul COVID. You're not back per se. You're just trying your best to work through your symptoms so that you could hop on from time to time.
Yeah. So don't look close at my face. I actually have a towel next to me. I'm sweating bullets. So right now, my main thing is my fever is nonstop now. It changes week to week what I go through. So I have long haul COVID, for those who don't know, which means even though I no longer test positive for COVID, which I got in November, here we are in April, the symptoms are hanging around. So the fever, it's around like 99.7 these days. So not super high, but it's around for going on month 5 soon. So, and the fatigue is around, but I'm finding that I can't just sit there and just be a lump on a log. I think a lot of recuperating is mindset and like having a purpose. And so since a lot of the fatigue is kind of abating, I hope you guys can't hear these dings. I'm sorry. I have Jordan's messages on bypass, so they aren't silent. So I'm sliding back in, I think, to doing, live streaming again. I've been working behind the scenes on a lot of things that you guys haven't seen. And I want to be, out there again. I miss live streaming. I miss interacting with you guys. I truly, it's kind of funny. Like Jordan and I were talking the other day, and it used to be the case that he would have to drag me kicking and screaming. I almost said kicking and streaming, which is kind of cute. Kicking and screaming to do any on-camera work. And I never wanted to do it. I never wanted to be on camera. I'm really, really shy. And I just didn't. I was like, I'm a writer. I don't want to be on camera ever, ever, ever. But because we're a video channel, it just became inevitable that I would start doing in field work and that I would start live streaming. It's just because that's what we are. So I started to miss it. I really surprised myself with that, because it's not about being on camera to like feed my ego. It's because I don't have much of an ego anyway, but it's really because it's, you guys in the chat. Like I'm reading the chat as I'm talking. It's a way to kind of to interact with the people, to share my thoughts. And I truly miss that. It's a huge part of like who I became with Status Coup. So in basically just lying in my bed for months on end, I truly miss that. So I'm going to, as much as my body can handle, I'm really paying attention to healing and health. I'm going to slide back into things. So I see a lot of like suggestions and things like that. Mary says, get over your fears. What fears? I don't know what fears.
Well,
but yeah, a lot of people are saying vitamin D. I'm taking a 20,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. That's a lot. So yeah, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. Don't worry.
I don't want to blow up your spot, but you do, you are seeing a specialist soon. It took a while to get that appointment.
Yeah.
So you are seeing a specialist. I mean, listen, I've got
Johns Hopkins. So for long haulers, it'll be good.
So I've gotten the emails too. Everybody's got a different idea. The truth is, I mean, you're taking every vitamin known to man.
That's a lot.
But the truth is, it's been both difficult for you physically, mentally, and there's a downward effect. I mean, personally, obviously the company, because you haven't been able to do as much as you would like. But I do agree, within reason, because I said to you earlier, if people want to know the behind the scenes, like, don't push yourself to the point of, making yourself sicker. I remember I did not have COVID long haul. The worst of my symptoms were probably 3 weeks. The cough lasted for a month, but I mean, the fever and the bad fatigue was about 3 weeks for me. Jen's had it since November. So it's totally not comparable, but I remember.
Don't recommend.
I remember. I remember when I went live when Bernie dropped out. You remember? I mean, that probably set me back by a week, just expending the energy of that 1 hour and a half.
Longer. I think it set you back longer.
Right.
I think for me, it's I don't know. Maybe someday I'll do like a longer thing about how this has affected me, not for myself, but for just as to explain this to people, because so many people are going through this, and I have people telling me that this is hypochondria and that this is not real, et cetera, et cetera. So not for myself, but for other people who are maybe going through this. And I do have a little bit of a platform through Status Coup, so whatever. But I think this is not just physical. This is mental. long haulers not only deal with the physical effects, and it's different from person to person, but it's also linked to mental effects. And I already suffer from depression and severe anxiety and PTSD. So it makes those things even worse. And for people who don't suffer from depression and anxiety, there are reports all over the place from long haulers that it puts them into a depression, and it makes them anxious, and it makes people more short-tempered, and it changes people's ability to handle things. And it's something that is so not studied and so not known that I think will be years before we truly have any sort of grasp on COVID. This is not normal. This is not a normal flu, as right-wingers want to consider it. So yeah, I don't want to take up any more time on me, but yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to be coming back more and more, because I feel like this is invigorating. It is harder for me in the evenings. I do have brain fog. I don't feel as sharp as normal, but I do feel much, much better than even a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to keep going with that. People are reporting that as they get the vaccination, that they long haulers are reporting that they start to feel better. I have my Johns Hopkins appointment. I am taking like a hell of a lot of supplements, so I want something to work. And so yeah, I have a lot of hope, and I think mindset's a big part of it. And I think that if I do start to get back to the swing of things, I think that'll really help boost my my whole outlook on life. And you guys have been amazing, so thank you.
And two things: don't be too proud to take your sweat rag and get it over that.
I know. Oh, is that Jordan? That's Jordan's very unsubtle way of saying, Jen, you're like.
No, it's not. I'm just saying, I don't want you to think like you can't. People understand. So if you need to, clear your forehead or whatever, go for it. And obviously, just let me know as we go if you need to bow out.
Hashtag sweat rags for Jen.
I've been known to rant on my own. So anyway, let's get going here. Keep those super chats coming. I see some big ones. Maybe we'll talk a little towards the end just about the behind the scenes of what we've been dealing with YouTube and other things. So please keep those super chats coming, because we really need the extra revenue right now, particularly since YouTube has been really targeting us, but also we haven't been able to travel and cover stories as much, which is a way that we tend to grow. When we're in the field, we tend to be able to convert more viewers to paid members. Hint, hint, sign up as a paid member, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to start. Smash the like button. We got 330 people watching and 220 something likes. So we need 100 extra likes. We will beg for likes in addition to money. So keep it coming. I want to start because, Jen, there's been this whole debate, on Twitter and in left circles, are people being too
Sorry
hard?
to interrupt. Tony East Coast wants to know what the best way to support us is, so I feel like we need to answer that. Become a member and tell all your friends. statuscoup.com/join. That is our main business model. If you are already a member, the best way to support us is through our GoFundMe, gofundme.com/statuscoup.
Yeah, so hold on, because I'm very bad with StreamYard. Hold on. Yeah,
StreamYard stuff. It's different than our normal that we use.
So sign up as a member right there. We're at 1,750. Before the pandemic, we were hitting almost at 2,000. So we've taken a hit with people having to cancel or whatever because of the economy, which totally understand. But that's step number one. Sign up as a member. You get great perks as a member, a monthly members call. You get access to our members only Discord, behind the scenes videos. And if, again, like Jen said, if you're already a member, you could support us via Super Chat. You could support us in our GoFundMe, which is still going, strong. I'll show you that here. We are at 143,000, a little over $143,000 raised. I always have to put the disclaimer. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually had all that in the bank? This is over 3 years. This is what we've cumulatively raised. So we don't have 143,000. That's what we've cumulatively raised. So yeah, you could, but no, step number one, if you're not a member, sign up, statuscoup.com/join, $5 a month to support real, independent, and in the field journalism. So Jen, and keep those super chats coming. Jen, there's been a real kind of cottage industry here. Are people being too hard on AOC and Bernie and the squad? Are we not being good allies, as they call it? Or should you call them sellouts? Should you call them frauds? I get grief for not using such language, but I got to tell you, I really think there is, you know how like in relationships, sometimes there's a disconnect, you know, one person wants some X and one person wants Z, and your wires are being crossed and you're just not being fulfilled in what you need. And that person, whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, whatever, that person told you or presented themselves as X, but they're giving you Y or Z. Terrible analogy, I know. But reading this story over the last days, and I know I'm going to be attacked. You're going too hard, or you're making a molehill mountain out of a molehill. But reading this story, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about from Politico. Where AOC apparently was basically taking donations that her donors sent and sending it to like quote unquote at-risk Democrats.
Yeah.
So, you know, Democrats in quote unquote swing districts that are generally right-wing Democrats. I mean, I'm not going to read the whole story, but as the midterm campaign's first fundraising deadline approached this week, several vulnerable Democrats got an unwelcome surprise in their accounts. $5,000 from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The New York Democrat sent the contribution to her colleagues to help keep the House majority ahead of a tough cycle without directly contributing to the Democratic, the DCCC. The DCCC is the House campaign arm, which basically barred any consultants or any ad makers from who worked with AOC or other challengers to incumbents. So basically, to give you the nuts and bolts, AOC took money that was donated to her from her supporters and was routing some of that money to swing district Democrats such as Connor Lamb in Pennsylvania, Alyssa Slotkin. Let me make sure I have the names right here. Yeah. Some of it went to Katie Porter and some that are more towards the left, but some of it went, AOC's money poses a problem. It went to Democrats such as Congresswoman Jared Golden of Maine, who is pretty conservative, Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan, Connor Lamb of Pennsylvania. Just to give you, if you don't know, Connor Lamb, this is from Jacobin. This is Connor Lamb here. Hold on. Perhaps the most glaring is recently reelected Connor Lamb, who has become something of a figurehead for the party's conservatives media campaign against progressives. Despite telling the New York Times last week that, quote, people are not clamoring for single-payer health care, Lamb has repeatedly faced pressure from constituents to support such a policy. At a 2019 town hall, he was met with, quote, call after call for a single-payer health care or Medicare for all system, according to a local report. So that's Connor Lamb. A few months later, he again braved challenge from irate constituents, many of them the kind of liberal suburbanites not known for typically agitating for left-wing causes, disappointed with Congress's lack of movement on progressive priorities. When a nurse urged him to sign on to Medicare for all, Lamb insisted most people in the district were pretty happy with their insurance. So that's who Connor Lamb is. He also happens to be a mother fracker, loves fracking, which is obviously pretty different than what AOC and most of her donors stand for, I would say. He is against the Green New Deal. I don't even know if he's honestly for a $15 minimum wage. Alyssa Slotkin, again, in Michigan, she's not on board with Medicare for all. I don't think she's on board with the Green New Deal. And before I get to why this is problematic, obviously the devil's advocate position, Jen, is, well, Jordan, it's $5,000. That's nothing. And, you know, maybe if she plays nice and helps these people, they'll do, you know, they'll return the favor, so to speak, when it's time for, you know, us to challenge or pressure on progressive priorities. And my thought, to me, the money is secondary. I mean, I would be pissed off if I donated to AOC. And I think most people that don't donate to AOC, Jen, are like actual progressives. So I don't think they probably knew that some of that money might, even if it's $5, would have been rerouted to conservative Democrats. But to me, second to the money, Jen, and everybody smash that like button. We got almost 400 watching.
Do it. Smash it.
286 likes. Smash that like button. Second to the money, I think this again just shows more and more of the, if you call it a strategy, to me, what is a failed strategy of the progressive left, which is let's try and establish relationships with these corporatists. Let's try and, work with them, thinking that if we just send them money or we just work with them or we just try and go out to dinner with them and we just show them outside the window at what people really want, then they'll come closer to our side, which to me basically is a misunderstanding of who these people are. They're corporatists for a reason. They've sold their morals at the front door. They've sold their principles at the front door. And by the way, it has always been a misnomer that, oh, they have to be this way because they're in more swing districts. No, if Conor Lamb ran as AOC, he would win. You got to have charisma and stand for something. He'd probably win in that Pennsylvania district. Alyssa Slotkin, who AOC gave money to, she's in a swing district in Michigan. She'd probably win if she ran on these policies because they're wildly popular. It's just bullshit manufacturing consent. The media makes it seem like these people need to be towards the right to win in these swing districts. But to me, secondary from the money, it just shows what is the left doing? Like, what is your strategy? Is your strategy basically to spend the next 15, 20 years trying to one by one pick off these corporatists to your side? Because if that's the case, we're all going to be dead by the time we get Medicare for all. Your thoughts?
Well, don't you think that she would say she's not, maybe she's trying to win them over a little bit? Like when you give someone a gift, like psychologically, they and in marketing, like they are more likely to feel indebted to you and like more endeared to you and like do what you want. Like that's the psychology of persuasion. That's one of the principles of that. But she would say, I think, no, these people are in risky positions. I'm just trying to help them win, because if I don't, then their spot will go to a Republican. And isn't that worse? So,
but that's not what she campaigned on.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And by the way,
I think that's her bullshit answer.
Right. And by the way, I'm just picking on AOC because this is the story. I mean, this is the financial transactions.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that money donated to Ro Khanna is going. We don't know. I mean, I don't have time right now, but I'm sure if we look into it, there are other progressives taking donor money and routing it to others. I mean, AOC makes the most out of any of the squad. But, to me, we're talking about AOC because this is the one that it came out that she was doing this donor money. But to me, it's across the board, this entire squad. And let me show Colin's wonderful graphic here. It's the entire squad, because at the end of the day, you didn't run on trying to slowly pick off more corporatists to hop on to Medicare for all. You didn't run on, oh, eureka, we got this corporate Democrat to sign his name onto Medicare for all. Big victory. You didn't run necessarily on, like, let's get an exemption to PAYGO. You ran on bringing the ruckus to the Democratic Party. That was what AFD ran on. Rashida Tlaib, who, I like all of these people's policies, but Rashida Tlaib, pretty much the same thing. Ayanna Pressley, she's more on the Elizabeth Warren, wing, I would say. Jamal Bowman, same thing. Cori Bush, who I happen to know, I've interviewed her in the field. She was there when I was covering the St. Louis Black Lives Matter protests years ago when Ty and I was arrested. I think she's the real deal. So I'm not like attacking them as bought off. I don't think that's the case, but I am strongly criticizing them as A, naive, and B, ineffective. This is an ineffective strategy. Connor Lamb, first of all, that political story, I'm not going to continue reading the whole thing, but it's not only that giving them the money isn't going to bring them over. They are actively sending the money back. They are actively sending the $5,000. Some of them are sending it back. And the thing is, ask Bernie Sanders, if AOC is watching, go ask Bernie Sanders and other progressives that have twisted themselves into human pretzels, politically prostituted themselves. Yes, politically prostituted themselves for Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Go ask them when the favor was returned. Bernie Sanders, during a pandemic at 79, literally went around the country for Joe Biden. He went around at 79 physically more than anyone else for Joe Biden. And what did Joe Biden do? Right away, gave up on a $15 minimum wage, pulled back on $2,000 checks. I mean, it's right in front of us. So to me, Jen, and I'd love your thoughts, the sin is not that Congresswoman AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Pressley and Ro Khanna and Pramila Jayapal and Cori Bush and the whole squad plus whatever you want to call it. The sin is not that they haven't won yet, or that they haven't gotten Medicare for all yet, or they haven't gotten a $15 minimum wage yet. That's not the ultimate thing that I have a problem with. The sin is, you don't seem to be actually smartly fighting for it. That's what doesn't make sense to me. How are you going to get a $15 minimum wage if you're not right now saying to Joe Biden publicly in front of the cameras, dead on arrival, your infrastructure bill, dead on arrival, anything you want to do, dead on arrival. We stood by. We allowed you to gaslight us about the Senate parliamentarian in the COVID bill, and we voted for it, even though you abandoned your promise. But that's that. That's over. People have gotten the relief. And now you want to achieve anything in this administration? Forget Joe Manchin. We have more power and we have more numbers than Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is one person. The squad has 8 or 9 in the House. Bernie can pretty much do what Joe Manchin is doing. Bernie could shut down anything in the Senate. So I don't get what is the strategy. And if there is one, please tell us. Yeah.
Well, and so before I was playing devil's advocate. So to AOC's pretend answer that, I'm just trying to help them win. Your $5,000 is not going to swing anything. Your $5,000 is not going to make enough difference for you to give away money given in good faith from progressives that thought you, AOC, that thought you were going to fight for Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, etc. So why, as Jordan said, why is the squad not fighting? They have the numbers. Why are they cowering to these corporatist Democrats? Why are they cowering to Joe Biden? I don't understand what the squad is doing. I don't understand what AOC is doing. If AOC's point is that people should be organizing and that's what it's going to take, we have to organize. That's what we need. You are in Congress. That's the goal, right? You're in Congress. You are a lawmaker. That's what people aspire to in order to make a difference. You have organizers that are out there. You have people out there making a difference. But you, AOC, and you, rest of squad, you are the people. You are in power right now, right here and now. And you do have the numbers. So stop talking a good game and do it. Take a stand. you would have a Cori Bush behind you 100%. I've had the privilege of working some with Cori Bush when I was doing some work for Justice Democrats and Brand New Congress before I was doing work with Jordan. And Cori Bush, in my opinion, is a great person, and I'm curious and encouraged to see what she will do in Congress. I had the same hopes for AOC. On the AOC front, though, a complete disappointment. And I have to say that AOC does need to be held to account. Every politician needs to be held to account. Politicians are not our friends. We say this all the time. I'm a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders, for example. I have freaking over there on my bed, I have a freaking knitted Bernie Sanders and mittens like that I got from Etsy. I'm an insane person. But Bernie Sanders needs to be called out when he does wrong. AOC needs to be called out when she does wrong, when she does not stand for the things that she was elected for. The other day, I tweeted when AOC had her ridiculous statement, or speech or whatever it was. I don't remember where she was speaking, but she said part of the speech was that Biden's migrant policy was not as bad as Trump's because Biden's policy was not literally ripping babies out of the arms of mothers. Well, that's disingenuous in so many ways I can't even count it. And that is just stomach turning and horrible. So I tweeted that, and I literally had people who I respect and who are viewers, and I'm sorry if you're one of them, I do respect and like you, but said, Jen, I'm disappointed in you. Like, Jen, I'm disappointed in your response to AOC. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you disappointed in my take on AOC? This is a horrible response, first of all. Second of all, we're all allowed to have opinions. And third of all, AOC doesn't get a pass just because she's AOC. Politicians are not our friends. Just because she's a very popular, very charismatic person doesn't mean she gets to pull the wool over our eyes. We have to look beyond that. We have to see what's really happening here. And what I unfortunately fear is happening is that she is getting pulled to the dark side. And by the dark side, I mean getting pulled into the Nancy Pelosi's. We've seen the clips of Nancy Pelosi talking about Medicare for all earlier in her career. Now we know what Nancy Pelosi talks about these days. It's certainly not Medicare for all. So we've seen those fears of that happening to AOC, and unfortunately, I can't say it won't happen. I can't say that AOC is not going to become the new Nancy Pelosi. She is making missteps left and right. I don't know what's going to happen with the squad. I don't know what's going to happen with AOC, but they sure as hell aren't fighting for it. And with AOC giving all of this money, all of not her money, the people's money, the people who wanted AOC to win, the people who wanted AOC to push for Medicare for all, the people who saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as the next Bernie Sanders. That's their money. And she gave it to these freaking people. They're giving it back because they don't even respect her.
And speaking of money, that is not going to be redirected to Connor Lamb. $150 on the GoFundMe. Holy cow.
Oh.
Anonymous just gave $150. I don't think it was Connor Lamb who gave it.
Yes.
But thank you, Anonymous. That's badly, badly needed, and we will not send it to Connor Lamb or any corporate Democrats. But keep it coming in the super chat. We're going to read the super chats at the end, so don't think we're not reading them. But I want to point out something that is kind of like this devil's advocate that people keep saying to me, but doesn't make any sense to me, Jen. They say, "Well, Jordan, would you rather her not give them the money and they then lose the district to a Republican?" And the answer is, yeah, I would, because we didn't elect AOC and these the progressive Democrats to just help us avoid the Republicans, to just help us get marginally better, to just help us stay rotted in this perpetual lesser of two evils. That's what that mindset is. When I see people responding, because I tweeted about this over the weekend, and when I see people responding, well, Jordan, would you prefer her not to help them and then a Republican get the district? You know, of course I don't want a Republican to get the district, but if it's just going to stay Connor Lamb and we're still not going to have $15 minimum wage and we're still not going to have Medicare for all and we're still not going to have a Green New Deal, then yeah, it's a difference. What do they say? It's a distinction without a difference or something like that. Like, okay, yeah. Connor Lamb might be a little less racist than the Republican will replace him, but I didn't. I'm a journalist, but like I'm assuming our viewers and activists I know and have interviewed did not knock on doors for AOC and these other progressives to make sure that a marginally better person in a swing district will stay in office. And I also think with that mindset, we're continuing to operate on the neoliberal playing field. That's the neoliberal playing field. That's the manufacturing consent playing field in terms of, well, we got to keep that Dem majority. It's better than the Republicans. No. We got to break out of that. And that's what those people like AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, yes, the Justice Democrats, that's what they sold themselves as. That's what they marketed themselves as we're taking it to the Democratic Party. Well,
I have a lot of things to say about Justice Dem. Never mind.
Where is the fight? I'm not expecting miracles. I'm not expecting miracle work. Frankly, if they would have done forced to vote, which I was a proponent of, it frankly would not have gotten Medicare for all. But I don't think all the people that are disappointed right now, I don't think their disappointment is based in that they're just not getting the results yet. Nobody, I don't think you, Jen, nobody expects AOC and the progressives to be miracle workers. We did not become the United Corporations of America overnight. We did not become the United Corporations of America overnight. And we're not going to completely sanitize this rotten system overnight. It's going to take years. It might take decades. But you don't do that unless you frankly, go to war guerrilla style. And this is the point that really makes me angry, Jen, is you have the people behind you. You have the people behind you, but they're squandering the arm. They're doing what Obama did. I mean, Obama was a fraud. He fooled me. He fooled Jewel. He fooled half the country. But Obama had a huge army of volunteers when he got in the White House, and he left them on the White House lawn and instead, gave sexual favors to Goldman Sachs and Wall Street and the rest of them. Excuse my French. So this is the wrong strategy. I see the comments saying, Jordan, you're naive. It's because they're bought off. I wish it was that simple. I honestly don't think it's because they're bought off. I think they're politically naive. And when I hear AOC, keep those super chats coming. We appreciate it. When I hear AOC, and Jen, you mentioned this, when I keep hearing, I think she gave an interview to the Democratic Socialist magazine or something like that.
Yeah.
When I heard her continue to say,
to the
Democratic Socialist of America.
Of America. Yeah.
I don't know what the publication was, but it was a DSA based thing. When I keep hearing her say, we just need to organize more. Well, we have organized, and we got a number of progressives in Congress right now that have the ability to set the agenda or block the agenda. So, yeah, I understand it doesn't stop with them. We got to organize for a whole lot of other things in this country. But how much more organizing do you have to do? You have the numbers right now. Let me just tell you, Jen, I mean, it's not like I'm brilliant on UK politics, but this is kind of common practice in other countries that if one party has a slim majority, which the Democratic Party right now has a 1-seat majority, which is the vice president breaking the tie, then a minority within that majority is basically as powerful as the prime minister, the president. So right now, the progressives are as powerful, more powerful, frankly, than Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Frankly, if you look at it a certain way, they're more powerful than Joe Biden. But because they right now could shut down everything that Biden wants to do. Of course, the media would be brutal. Let's not pretend the media would paint them as pariahs. We know that. But from a tactical point, they could shut it all down, but they're choosing not to. And I want to show a clip, Jen. Mehdi Hassan, who I guess has been filling in on MSNBC. I'm surprised to let him. But he kind of tepidly, but kind of sort of challenged Bernie on this point. Like, why aren't you playing the hardball that Joe Manchin is? Let's take a look at what Bernie had to say, which, frankly, wasn't much of anything. Let's take a look.
You mentioned the grassroots movement. A lot of frustrated progressives, especially online, and you know this, often ask, why can't you, Bernie Sanders, use the leverage that Joe Manchin often uses to get his own way on issues like the $15 minimum wage or expanding healthcare? Why can't you throw your weight around, they say, threaten to vote against things like Joe Manchin so successfully does?
First of all, if you look at the results of what happened, look, I'm not the president. But I think what most people would tell you is what we did in the rescue plan was the most significant piece of legislation for working class people in the modern history of this country. And we're moving forward in a similar direction. We can't get everything we want. That's simply the reality. Any one person can say no. But right now, I think we are moving forward. We're going to push it as hard as we possibly can. And I'm proud of the direction.
I hate to cut off the OG, but I got to stop it right there. We'll play the rest of the clip. But first of all, I'm just being honest, Jen. And I do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know there's a lot of people who literally have unsubscribed because I won't call Bernie a sellout and I won't call him a fraud. I'm just not going to go for clicks. Okay. I respect what Bernie has done. Frankly, there was no progressive movement in America before Bernie. So I don't believe in throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But what I do believe is we could criticize him in real time. And I don't know if, I don't want to get into sources, but I know people in Bernie's world who are equally as dismayed, shall I say? Because what the hell are you talking about, Bernie? This was the most significant piece of legislation, like in the 21st century. It's a temporary Band-Aid, this $1.9 trillion stimulus.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's all temporary. There are some good things in it. But okay, so we're going to cut poverty in half for 6 months until all of these provisions are gone. I mean, that's what this is. All of it's temporary. And by the way, Biden, for his infrastructure plan, Jen, just preemptively, without even being forced to, said, yeah, we don't think we're going to be able to make those child tax credits permanent. It's the same thing he did with the Senate parliamentarian and the $15 minimum wage. Preemptively, he's not being challenged, basically wave the red flag without even being challenged. It's because his donors won't let him. And Bernie, maybe he's tired. He's been running around the country like a madman at an old age. And that's fine. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. But you're wrong if you think that what just passed is anything more than a glorified Band-Aid for an gaping economic gunshot wound. And the gaping economic gunshot wound came long before COVID. And the other thing, Jen, he says, I'm not the president, but you have the power to stop the president. That's the whole point. That's what Mehdi was getting at. You have, as one senator, the criticism before, Bernie didn't have the numbers where Bernie literally could shut down anything. But you have, just like Joe Manchin is doing right now, I'm going to show you in a little bit. He's saying, nuh-uh, we're not raising the corporate tax rate to 28%. Bernie has that power. So yeah, you might not be the president, but your single vote with these progressives in the House has the power to set the agenda. You might not get everything you want, but if the progressives and Bernie said, yeah, we're not voting for your infrastructure plan unless $15 minimum wage is in there, Medicare for all gets a floor vote, and a couple other things, maybe you won't get all of it. Maybe you'll get one or two of it by playing hardball. But that's the point. He kind of dodged that question. And in not just dodging it, he gave what I think was just a wrong answer that this, what we already got, was somehow, he's making it seem like this is the New Deal, Jen.
Yeah, I have to say that's I really don't know what to make of that. Like, that is so clearly not the case. You know, what Bernie said is so clearly not the case that I am baffled. I don't know why he would say that. I don't know if he truly thinks that. I don't know if he feels like he has to say that in order to get something else. Like, is he playing some kind of long game? Am I being naive? Is something else going on?
Well, Jen, you're a fraud. You're a fraud for not. You're a fraud for calling him a fraud, and I won't allow it.
That must be it. Yeah, I don't know. That's not good, Bernie.
And the thing that really puzzles me, and I get it, like, people just want this to be very simple. They just want to call them frauds, sellouts, and go scorched earth. But the thing is, to me, I think actions speak louder than words. And I truly believe that a lot of these people, it's not that they're bought off. A lot of them get into Washington and actually kind of get brainwashed a little bit. I'm talking about AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal. They kind of get brainwashed into thinking, no, you got to play this inside game to get anything. You got to work your colleagues a little bit. You got to show them the temperature outside. You got to show them and convince them that, no, you don't have to take the corporate money. If you go with the policies that are popular, you'll get a lot of small dollar donations. And they actually truly believe, wrongly, that you can get these people to come onto your side and do the right thing. But the problem is, you're not dealing with people that are operating in good faith. You're dealing with people who have shown by their actions. I'm talking about Connor Lamb, Alyssa Slotkin, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. You're dealing with people that don't think it's corrupt to take money from banks and fossil fuel companies and big pharma and big real estate and Silicon Valley and defense contractors. They don't think that's corrupt. They just think that's the price of doing business in DC. They don't think it's immoral that you have to pay at the point of service for health insurance. They think health insurance should be a commodity. They don't think it's an urgent crisis that we have fracking in this country, which is one of the biggest contributors to the climate catastrophe. They don't think it's an urgent matter that we raise the minimum wage. They could say all these things peripherally, but their actions show they don't believe that. So you're trying to, what do they say, Jen? You're trying to square peg into a round hole by convincing these people.
Jordan asked me how to say this like twice a week. Yeah.
You're basically trying to get these people, you're trying to operate in good faith with people that are immoral corporatists instead of just going to war politically. And AOC said, I'd rather be a one-term congressperson than play this game. But to me, she's playing this game. And most importantly, I mean, the results are clear. Biden has moonwalked away from the only promises he made, which was a $15 minimum wage and a $2,000 check. That's it. Other than that, he just said, I'm going to restore the soul of something. That was the only promises he made. He's already abandoned. Already, here's a perfect example, Jen. AOC tweets and says, oh, no, the $2 trillion that Biden has proposed for the infrastructure is adequately inadequate. It is grossly inadequate. Okay, but with that did not come a threat. I'm not voting for it. With that did not come a threat unless it's gone up to 4 or 5 trillion dead on arrival. So and this is why Biden and the corporatists do whatever they want, because they know there is no credible threat from Bernie, AOC, Rashid, any of these people. They know they're just going to fold because they keep folding. And it just doesn't make sense. And at a certain point, call them whatever you want. Sellouts, frauds. I just call them weak. This is weak. And it's basic politics 101. Jimmy says it and others say it. This is just basic politics 101. If you have the numbers, you come with a demand, but they're not demanding anything. They're just sort of kindly asking for it. And then when they don't give it, saying, well, we tried our best. Look at what we did get. It's very frustrating, and it makes you wonder. I am not at all telling people don't support Nina Turner. I do support Nina Turner, but at a certain point, it makes people cynical to not want to participate and support other strong progressives that are running. Justice Democrats just named, I don't know her name, but just launched their first candidate for the 2022 midterms in Tennessee. Seems like a progressive activist, African-American woman, but it makes people cynical to maybe not even want to give her a look or not give strong progressives a look because you're disappointed with the progressives that you did knock on doors for, that you did donate to. And that's dangerous too, that other strong progressives might not get the support because people have buyer's remorse for the people we did put in office.
Well, and you and I were talking about this earlier today. Someone who you and I both really like and respect, Paula Jean Swearengin, who was one of the OG Justice Dems, brand new Congress people, has, I don't know what the right terminology is, not come out against, but like come out.
She came out against.
Yeah, AOC.
Let me find the tweet because it was pretty, I would say, unequivocal.
Pretty clear, yeah.
Let me find her tweet. Paula Jean Swearengin down in West Virginia.
And these people were all friends. Like I was with these OG people. I was on the writing team for this crew, this original crew: Cori Bush, Paula Jean, AOC, Adrienne Bell, who's now at the head of brand new Congress.
So she wrote Paula Jean Swear, and she was also in that documentary, by the way, whatever it was. I don't remember the name.
With Amy Vilela, Bringing Down the House.
Bringing Down the House, the Netflix documentary on AOC, Paula Jean Swearengin, Cori Bush, I believe, the 2018 candidates. AOC was the only one that won, but it showed the story of all of them. And here's Paula Jean in response to this story that AOC is basically redirecting donor money to corporatists. This is not what we supported when we started. Pretty sure AOC is batting for what the party wanted her to do, not what will help to pass the policies we need. I'm highly disappointed with my colleague, and I won't align myself with her anymore. So that's pretty, she's disavowing AOC.
Yeah, you're right.
At least politically, she's disavowing her. And you want to know something? Again, Jen, to me, it's not just about the $5,000, which is a lot of money, by the way. These people saying, oh, it's nothing that she gave $5,000. Well, $5,000 from a lot of people who are working people that gave it to AOC. But to me, again, it's what is the strat? Your strategy is to sit here and try and like year after year get Connor Lamb and these people over to your side. That's a losing strategy. It's a losing strategy. So at a certain point, I think there are going to be more and more people saying, don't give money to the Justice Democrats. I think there are going to be louder choruses to primary progressives like AOC.
People are disavowing Justice Dems left and right. And I have to say, what Justice Dems is now is nothing like what it was when I was involved. Nothing.
Those that don't know, you were a volunteer with them years ago.
Yeah, I was a volunteer with them on the writing team back before it split. So back like when it all first started, and then when brand new Congress and Justice Dems combined. Like I was there back when like Cenk was pretending to be a founder and etc. He was not really involved, etc.
Wait, you mean Cenk Uygur was not involved with something, but then made it seem like he created it and was the whole
He was not involved. It was a major conundrum because they would desperately try to contact him to like get him to do anything, and he wouldn't. Just a side note. Anyway.
Just interesting, because I've never known Cenk to be a hot air balloon, totally bullshitting and making himself seem like he climbed the mountain, and in reality,
he still does it today. He's like, as the founder of Justice Democrats. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I was at an event for the announcement of, well, it was at a TYT event, but it was like a co-announcement of Cori Bush, who was like the first announcement of Justice Dems. And I literally had to be like, Jank, you have to announce Cori Bush. This is the first candidate. Like you, and he was like, oh yeah, so what should I say? It's like, I literally had to give him the talking points. It was ridiculous. Anyway,
but Jen, I actually think this is the point. And we're going to read all the super chats, but this person just made my point. We just had a super chat. Oh, Cheryl, $10. Thank you, Cheryl. JD just asked me for money for Odessa Kelly. That's the name of the woman running, the first Justice Democrats candidate running in Tennessee that they just announced. So Cheryl is saying, JD just asked me for money for Odessa Kelly in Tennessee. And I said, absolutely no, because Rojas, Alexandra Rojas, head of the Justice Democrats, went on MSNBC and defended Neera Tanden. Tanden. So that's the point. I don't know Odessa, what was her name? Odessa Kelly from A Hole in the Wall. She might be incredible. She might be revolutionary. She might be the real deal. She might be willing to get in there and block some things. But the problem is, if progressives who would normally volunteer for them, who would normally, donate, if they're becoming so cynical by the rest of them, well, they're not going to support potentially strong progressive candidates, which is a shame. I mean, I don't know Odessa. I don't know what her policies are. I'd have to look into it, but it really is a shame that essentially potentially good progressive candidates are going to get the consequences for AOC, the squad currently in Congress that sold themselves as renegade fighters, basically going along to get along.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real shame because I think some good candidates are going to get lost in the shuffle because of their association with this. And when people think of Justice Dems, they think of AOC and they think of they think of Alex Rojas' comments, and they think of all these shenanigans, and they associate all of this together. And so I wonder what's going to happen. Brand new Congress, in my opinion, from the people I know there, that is, team good. That is a group that I associate with, but unfortunately they haven't had, even though they are the OGs and they are responsible for like getting AOC in, like they aren't the ones that have the name recognition. So Justice Dems are, and they're the ones who people no longer trust. And I think it's really hurting the progressive movement. I don't know how it's going to shake out. And even the people who started all of that, who I think are good people, now have a super PAC, which is like, what are you doing? So I don't know. I don't understand what happens to people. What happens to people who have these great ideas and who seem to be so good and so pure. And by pure, I don't mean perfect, but I mean progressive and on the right track and full of passion for Medicare for all and for the people, and who seem dedicated to those things and to the people forever and for always. And then all of a sudden they're sucked into the machine.
Right.
And that's it.
And I want to just read one more thing, and it kind of just loops in everything. I mean, this is out today. CNBC. This is out today. Oh, I got to share my screen again. Hold on. I really hate StreamYard. No offense. But it's not easy to use. Hold on. So Biden says higher corporate tax won't hurt the economy. Manchin opposes it, 28%, which is a joke because even if it went to 28%, none of these companies are paying 28%. You're lucky if you can get any of these companies, Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot. You're lucky to get them to pay anything. Actually, Amazon, I think 2 years ago, got a rebate, literally got money from the federal government. But Here it is. Everything we're talking about. Joe Manchin? Nope, not doing it. Proposed increase is part of the administration's effort to fund its $2 trillion infrastructure proposal, which of course is nonsense. We have the money to do it. We don't have to pay for it. And Manchin, let's see what he said here. Even conservative Democrat Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia said Monday that he opposes the White House plan if it would raise the corporate tax to 28%. He did signal that he could be open to a partial roadblock of Trump's corporate tax cut to 25% versus the 28%. Quote, as the bill exists today, it needs to be changed, Manchin told blah, blah, blah. I think the corporate rate should have never been under 25%. That's the worldwide average. And that's what basically every corporation would have told you was fair. So, okay, Joe Manchin. And by the way, the key difference here, Jen, is Biden knows Joe Manchin's serious. Biden, Pelosi, and Schumer know, oh, crap. Manchin, he's going to muddy up the works here. And possibly if we really take him out by the knees, he'll cave, but it's going to take a lot of work. They know he's serious because he basically has blocked things in the past, not just like he did it when Obama was president. Whereas Bernie and AOC and the squad, they refuse even preemptively now to come out and do the same exact thing Joe Manchin is doing. They could do what Joe Manchin is doing on the opposite end and say, yeah, no, we're not even entertaining your infrastructure bill until the $15. You ran on $15 minimum wage. That has to be the first priority, even before infrastructure. So figure it out. But we are not voting for anything, infrastructure or anything else for that matter, until you put $15 minimum wage on the floor. And you, the president, you need to will Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema and the rest of these despicable cretins who voted against it, including Chris Coons of Delaware, Tom Carper of Delaware. You need to lead. Lyndon Johnson was terrible on certain things like Vietnam, but he knew how to, take people out by the knees and twist their arms to do what he wanted. Biden likes to say, I've been in the Senate for 50 years and I know the ways of Washington. Well, you could lead, but he doesn't want to lead because his donors don't want $15 minimum wage. Let's be clear. And that's part of why he's not pushing it. He said it to get elected, but he's not pushing it because there's certainly no pressure among Joe Biden's donors for a $15 minimum wage. But what Joe Manchin is doing right now, putting his marker down, saying, I'm not going for 28%, putting his marker down. We're going to have to talk about even $2 trillion for the infrastructure bill. There's more. Joe Manchin's one person. Bernie plus the squad could do that times 10. They're choosing not to. At a certain point, Jen, whatever people want to call them, at a certain point, you got to say, you presented yourself as X and you're not delivering on what you campaigned on. So we're going to primary you, or we're not going to donate to you anymore. We're not going to retweet you anymore. I'm sorry. I can't worship politicians. There's people, like you said, that we like on Twitter, continually giving her the benefit of the doubt every time. And at a certain point, those people are worshiping AOC and not looking at it objectively.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's no clear answer as to why. I don't understand why the squad, why AOC, why Bernie, why aren't they pushing for these? Why aren't they doing the Joe Manchin tactic? You know me, Jordan, like one of my main things as a person is I am always trying to understand the psychology of people. What makes people tick? They're
all rotten. That's it.
That must be it. But like, what is the driving force here? Do they really think that they're still on the path of good? Do they really think that they're going to get a better outcome by playing the game the way that they are? I think I'm probably with rose-colored glasses with Bernie, and I fully admit this. I do think that that's the case with him, but maybe I'm just like, he's my grandpa and like that's what I think. With AOC, I am leaning towards, I think she's been corrupted. But I can't understand it from a standpoint of like of psychology or motivation. And it's driving me crazy, because the reason we were excited about these people is because we thought we were getting change, and we aren't, and they aren't fighting. And they are, AOC hasn't supposedly been corrupted by donors yet. So what's happening? Is there the promise of this in the future? Is she being taken aside by these people who are promising her things? Are the Nancy Pelosi's, are senators, are people high in the House and in the Senate, are they taking her aside and saying, okay, do this for us now, and in 5 years, we'll give you this? Is she playing a game for better? What's happening in those halls of Congress? There has to be something happening with AOC because of her popularity. She's like, she's the cool kid in high school, where they know they have to play her special because she's a celebrity now and she's like XYZ. I can't figure it out, and it's driving me crazy, because and so many people really believed in her. And I think the squad defers to her. And I have to say, as much as I admire Cori Bush, she hasn't yet been the firebrand that I thought she would be. I thought she would.
Republicans, not Democrats.
Yeah. Well, I thought she would come out the door like leader, like, here's what we're going to do. But she seems to be kind of like watching her step for now, much more than I thought. So we'll see what she does. But I can't figure anyone out at this point. I guess that's politics. I'm a naive Pollyanna, and I think I always will be. But I really thought with the squad.
I'm going to save you saying that, by the way.
Huh?
I'm going to save you saying that you're naive.
I'll always admit that. I'll always have hope. But I'm as many people are out there, I'm disappointed in our elected leaders, for sure. These progressives that we all fought for. So
I want to shift real quick and keep those super chats coming, because we're going to read them.
By the way, AirPods do not stay in your ears if you guys think me poking my ears.
Real quick, I want to shift to, let's just button this up. Bottom line, to me, these people are weak. I don't know how to say it. I'm a white dude. I get that they're women of color, a lot of them, and they get death threats, and it's a lot easier saying this on YouTube than being inside Congress and getting the pressure. But you signed up for it. This is what AOC signed up for. This is what the squad signed up for. You also marketed yourself as this. So it would be the equivalent of Status Coup saying, as marketing ourselves as we are the only ones that go out there and cover the stories the corporate media covers up. It would be like us marketing ourselves as that. FYI, we are the only ones that goes out there and covers the stories in the field that the corporate media covers up, and then switching to do 40 videos on Trump a week. That would kind of be out of step with how we present ourselves to the public, right? Well, it's kind of like that right now. It's kind of like that, where they are representing themselves as bringing the fight to the Democratic Party. You remember AOC standing on the bar the night she won? Mm-hmm. That's the AOC I signed up for. And you want to know something? Mm-hmm. It's not only, we don't expect you to be victorious right away. Nobody does. I don't even think Jimmy does, who has been leading the naysayers against their actions. But we do expect you to try and fight and move the needle, and they're not doing that right now. So to me, this is weakness, and it's naivete. I think Bernie, and I've said this since day one, including 2016, he's a revolutionist stuck in a politician's body. Bernie said. And that's the point. You called it a revolution, Bernie. AOC and the squad, they've used those kind of terms. Well, I'm waiting for the revolution. I want to, Jen, real quick, because it's a very important story. This is, for those of you that don't know, I actually went to college in Tampa, Florida, which when I went to college back in the day, I graduated college in 2008, kind of a financial disaster, financial crash when I graduated college. Tampa wasn't as right wing as it is now, but it's pretty right wing. But there is in Tampa Bay, Florida right now, a pretty significant environmental calamity. And reading about this, it kind of makes you wonder, how many more of these are there in your neck of the woods that could happen relatively quickly based on how awful our infrastructure is? This is from The Guardian. Florida emergency as phosphate plant pond leak threatens radioactive flood. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, don't even get me started on this guy, declared a state of emergency on Saturday after a significant leak at a large pond at the old Piney Point phosphate mine threatened to burst a system that stores water polluted with radioactive materials. This is in Tampa, by the way, Tampa, Florida. Officials ordered more than 300 homes evacuated and closed off a highway near the large reservoir in the Tampa Bay area north of Bradenton. Residents who live around the Piney Point Reservoir received an alert via text saying to leave the area immediately because the collapse was imminent. Authorities expanded the evacuation area later Saturday to include more homes, but said they were not planning to open shelters. You're not planning to open shelters? Where are these people going to go? The State Department of Environmental Protection said a break was detected on Friday in one wall of a 77-acre pond that has a depth of 25 feet and holds millions of gallons of water containing phosphorus and nitrogen from the old phosphate plant. Officials brought in rocks and materials to plug the hole, but were unsuccessful. Manatee County Administrator Scott Hopes said at a press conference on Saturday, the most pressing concern was that the water could flood the area, though population density there was low. Quote, we are talking about the potential of about 600 million gallons within a matter of seconds and minutes leaving that retention pool and going around the surrounding area, i.e. into people's drinking water, by the way. Workers were pumping out thousands of gallons per minute to bring the volume down. Pumping the entire pond would take 10 to 12 days. Others were working to chart a path for controlling how the water can flow from the pond into the Tampa Bay. DeSantis' declaration of a state of emergency allocated more resources for response and recovery. The pond owner, HRK Holdings, oh, that doesn't sound sinister, did not respond to a request for comment. The pond at the old Piney Point phosphate mine sits in a stack of I don't know how to pronounce that. Phosphocybin, a waste product from manufacturing fertilizer that is radioactive. It contains small amounts of naturally occurring radium and uranium. The stacks can also release large concentrations of radon gas.
Phosphogypsum.
Yes, radon gas is fucking deadly, folks. Hopes said that if the pond collapsed, it could destabilize other areas in the plant. I'll put this in the super chat if you want to read the whole article. But why this is so scary, A, like in real time for Tampa, but B, for the entire country. You know, Biden is now pushing forward. Oh, we need this infrastructure bill is going to replace all the lead service lines, as if like that's like a bonus when we should have done that 20 years ago. But I covered when I was at the Young Turks in St. Louis area, there was radioactive waste leaking into the air and into the water there. It's a big, big uncovered story in America because the media is too busy, covering bullshit most of the time, that there is radioactive waste for all the way back to the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project of the 1940s and 50s. There is radioactive waste that is not sealed properly all over this country. There is radioactive waste that is leaking into the air, into water, all over this country. I know in Massachusetts, there is old landfills that were not properly sealed that have uranium, that have nuclear waste leaking into water and into the air. Like I just said, in the St. Louis area, this happens. It happens all over the country. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but you have no idea right now if there's this little crack in the wall of the pond in Tampa. How do we know where there are other cracks or soon to be cracks of radioactive waste? What's it called? Radioactive waste. What are they? Arsenic is in a lot of this. Just toxins we don't even know how to pronounce.
I was thinking like,
and Jen, there are high cancer rates in a lot of these communities that have these landfills and radioactive waste stored because they're not completely sealed properly.
Well, absolutely. And I was thinking or remembering maybe we will report on this at some point. But as we have been reporting on Flint stories, we've even come across sugar factories that originate, or the companies originate around the Flint area that operate out of Florida as well, that are a huge source of pollution in the Everglades area in Florida, that there's a lot of activism down there, and it's completely devastating the entire area. So it's, there are all of these sources of pollution and radiation and, as you say, like just untold amounts of pollution, all these dangerous kind of tragedies waiting to happen all across the country. And who knows, like how many people in Tampa knew that this was a possibility, just waiting to happen, waiting to devastate the community, as even a potential scenario.
And by the way, like, I don't know, does CNN have the time to cover this a little bit? I saw like one little segment. I mean, it's a state of emergency. There's radioactive waste, and it's not really getting a lot of attention. I know there's other things going on. You got the obviously the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin trial, which we actually reached out to a freelancer today to see if she could do some stuff for us because we want to cover it. There are other things going on, but like, Jesus, got radioactive waste in one of the largest states in the country, in a pretty populated city, and it's barely getting any attention. And this is the problem with the media. I mean, the media doesn't want to cover it because they don't think people will watch, when in reality, no, people will watch. They just don't know. Most people don't know what's going on. So it's really outrageous. Let's get to, we'll stay on this story, and I'm going to try and, get some folks to interview because A, it's close to my heart. I went to college down there, but B, I don't know. I think radioactive waste going, leaking into waterways, pretty big deal. Let me read some super chats, Jen, and then we'll get to the begging part of the program.
Keep those super chats coming.
Faint signals, $5. Jen, there's documentation of long haul symptoms all but disappearing after they had the AstraZeneca vaccine. Glad to see you on camera, Trish. Jen,
I'm signed up for one of the waitlist things. I can't remember what it's called, and then I'm signed up for. So I'm in Maryland, and I've signed up for all of the sites in Maryland possible. And they say they are opening today. So I'm signed up for that. And I checked the box that said immunocompromised because I am now. So we'll see, hopefully soon. And then I have my Johns Hopkins appointment on the 13th, which is a specialized unit specifically for long haulers, which are popping up all over the country, which I don't think people realize how severe this issue is across the country and across the world. Like, a lot of people are long haulers now. Right. So thank you though.
Let me read some other ones. Tony East Coast, $49.99. Hashtag proud to beg. Exactly, Jordan. No one thinks for me, but you all speak what I'm thinking. Well, Tony, I'll keep keep reading your mind. Keep on supporting us. That's a very generous amount of money. And you'd be surprised, like $50 right now, YouTube is really killing us and our revenue is significantly down. So every amount we appreciate, but the higher amounts particularly, because we need to make the revenue to keep going and grow.
If I could do math, then I would tell you how much down our revenue is. I would say with bad math, 70% down on YouTube.
70% down revenue on YouTube. It's not because people suddenly stopped liking the stories we cover or stopped liking reporting. Less and less people are seeing our content, and it's by design. So yeah, it's really, really bad. We are working on some things in the background. We might shift to doing more on Twitch. But for now, all these super chats really, really help quite a bit. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Just leave a message, $9.99. Yay, Jen is here and beautiful as ever. Stay strong.
Oh, thank you. And you, I guess, said that back when I was sweating like crazy. So thank you for the compliment that I was fake probably, but thank you.
Andre Gale, $5. Inside with the squad, I meant. All right. Tony, another $19.99. Hashtag Status Coup speaks for me. Love it. Andre Gale, $20. Does someone have inside with the two hand them the memo that we will organize and vote them all out if they don't act like the left Tea Party? People are dying and we didn't send them to strike deals with backstabbing devils. Oh, I love that. I might steal that for a headline.
Backstabbing devils.
Stop striking deals with the devils. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, and why don't we act like the freaking Tea Party? We should.
Yes. Without the racism, let's act like the Tea Party.
Yeah.
Faint signals from Vega, $5. Jen, just ignore my comment regarding AstraZeneca. Apparently, long haul symptoms have improved on any vaccine. AZ can be problematic with a heart. Get well soon. Okay.
I'll take anything that anyone will inject me with at this point, whatever it is. Yeah.
Not a super chat, but a nice comment from Jason. Jason from Amazon here. Once again, I want to thank Status Coup for being with Amazon workers since day one. And when my interview will be cut and published in YouTube. Yes, good reminder. We will get to that, Jason. I'm sorry. We've been really busy, but thank you. Let me read some more. Cheryl Tyler, $10. JD just asked for money for Odessa Kelly in Tennessee. And I said, absolutely no, because Alexandra Rojas, the executive director, went on MSNBC and defended Neera Tanden. Yeah, I read that one. And this is what I'm saying, Jen, like Odessa Kelly might be awesome. And
might be great.
Might be a great progressive, but people are getting cynical because the progressives they did knock on doors for, the progressives they did volunteer for and donate to are sending money to Connor Lamb. So yeah, it's a danger that strong progressive candidates that have activism roots, I believe Odessa Kelly in Tennessee does, aren't going to get the support that they normally would because the squad is spoiling it for them.
I would say, forget Justice Dems, whatever. Look into Odessa Kelly. If she, you can always donate. If Odessa Kelly is great, you can donate to candidates directly. Like you forget the third party.
Right. And you want to know something? For people like Odessa Kelly, like if I interviewed her, I would say, do you agree with the strategy of the squad? You could tell a lot by somebody if they dodge that. If, maybe she doesn't want to pick a fight with AOC or this and that, but you can tell a lot if these people want coverage in independent media. They want to be interviewed. So you could say, hey, if I interviewed her, I'm not trying to get you in trouble here, but if you were in there, would you be doing the same thing they're doing? Or would you be saying, you're not getting my vote? Because
that's tough as hell.
It's a fair question, though. It's a fair question because they might not want to alienate themselves with the squad and them, but
yeah,
so we don't need to ask them, hey, are you going to burn AOC down? But it's okay if they respectfully point out, no, I don't think I would give my vote if certain things are not given to the progressive movement, for sure.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
Let me read some others. Trilly South, Diggy Pimp, $2. Congress equals country club, and there's peer pressure. Couldn't agree more. Tony East Coast, $4.99. If you're going to say, excuse my French, you should say something in French. Fuck. Thank you, Tony East Coast. Appreciate it. Richard Williams, $4.99. Jen, I would be disappointed if you didn't say anything. I don't get that, but
I didn't say anything. I probably said something and I was like, oh, sorry. Well, I'll say whatever. I don't remember what it was, but I'll speak my mind whenever.
Tony East Coast, you're on fire. $4.99. I was worried my info would be public. Nope, just your name, Tony East Coast, is public. Nothing else. Adam, $4.99. AOC is sold out because she knows that if she turns on Pelosi, she will be treated the same way as Tulsi when she turned on Hillary.
Well, Tulsi went wacky.
I got to be honest with you, Adam. Yes and no. I don't think Tulsi had the army behind her that AOC and the squad has. Tulsi did have progressive support, but I don't think it was as big. I think if AOC went to war with Biden, like we are advocating for, she would have a much, much bigger pool of support than Tulsi. And frankly, they don't have the same, cheap shots that they had with Tulsi, like Assad and, all that stuff with AOC. So I get what you're saying, but I think AOC and the squad would have a much bigger army than Tulsi had. And to Tulsi's defense, part of the reason she didn't have a bigger army is because there was a blackout on what she stood for. There's a lot more anti-war people in the country that didn't really have much access to what Tulsi Gabbard stood for. But yeah, Tulsi has gone off the deep end on a few things. Just keep it real. Gino, $9.99. Good to see you, Jen.
Yay. Thank you, Gino. Donnie, don't worry about it. We really appreciate your thoughts and likes.
What happened with Donnie? Did I miss it?
Don't worry. It's just a comment.
Oh, Kevin Howard, $20. Welcome back, Jen. You both rock.
Yay.
Tony, 99 cents. We'll take it. Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Sam, for sending us those super chats. It ain't easy, by the way, to be live and keep track of the super chats. So, Sam.
Yeah, we got some great ones. Oh, there's some more. Mr. Methuselah, $10 in super chat. Donated thousands to Bernie and Justice Dems last election cycle. It was the first and last time I will ever donate to politicians. Putting those funds in my retirement account. Mr. Methuselah, I have another idea too. I was about to say, you could also donate thousands to Status Coup. Just saying.
Well, we're laughing, but the truth is, we're serious a lot because you want to know something? We're not politicians, and I've always said actions speak louder than words. Well, our actions have been clear. Do you see anyone still covering the Flint water crisis? Stay tuned for that. We got something big coming up. Do you see anybody literally covering the pipeline fights all over this country? Do you see anybody covering black men being murdered by police long before George Floyd, unfortunately, became a national name? I'm talking not from our studios, actually getting out there. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, we could go through all the stories we've covered, but our actions speak louder than words, and we don't bow down to politicians. I'm not like a child. I'm not going to sit here and be like, #Fraud Squad. I mean, some people want me. That's just not my style, but I've criticized Bernie more than most. I've criticized AOC and them more than most. If it ain't strong enough for you, because I'm not saying, the squad, they're frauds, then whatever. You don't have to watch me, but I'm not going to go for cheap clicks is all. But I would say, do not ever put all your stock in any politician.
No.
Same goes for us. Don't put all your stock in Status Coup. Hold us accountable as well. We're trying our best with basically.
Well, do put all your stock in Status Coup, but also hold us accountable.
And by the way, we've done all of this with, frankly, 2.5 people. Now, Colin is a full person, but he only kind of works part-time because he's a full-time job. So it's myself, Ben, Colin, and a bunch of freelancers who are nobody is full-time here. So definitely support us if you can. And dare I say, if you can, sign up as a member. That is our core business is paid membership. That is how we overcome what YouTube is doing to us right now. That is how we overcome some of the other obstacles, including a pandemic that has limited our ability to travel and cover stories in the field. We are only able to grow as far as you take us. And unfortunately, it's I'm just going to keep it real. It's been a little flat because YouTube has been throttling us. I mean, literally, I looked, Jen, we were down 133%. Let me repeat.
Oh my God.
133% over the last 30 days on YouTube in terms of subscriber growth. We were down 70% in terms of views. Now, did people suddenly stop caring about the stories we cover? Or has YouTube's algorithm made it so people don't see when we're live? People don't see our shorter videos. People are being unsubscribed from us when they didn't unsubscribe. People are not getting notified when we're live. There's a lot of suppressive things going on that we haven't cracked the code on how to overcome it, but we're not folding up the tent either. So, I digress.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Do you know Fast $4.99 in the super chat? What about Bill Gates releasing chemicals in the sky to block the sun? 5th grade science says that ends up in the water too. Bill Gates is on some wacky stuff. I don't even there's so many conspiracy theories going on with Bill Gates. Jordan likes to tease me because I regularly visit the Reddit conspiracy forums, not because I believe them, but because I find them endlessly entertaining. But they're they obviously they think Bill Gates is injecting microchips through the vaccines and stuff like that. But there are also some real things that Bill Gates wants to do, such as blocking part of the sun, which was rejected, thankfully. He's a little he's got a little Elon Musk in him, evil scientist. So,
and by the way, circling back to radioactive waste, that story I covered in St. Louis a couple years ago with radioactive waste coming out of a landfill, Bill Gates owns that company. Bill Gates owned the landfill company that refused to spend any money to move their waste. So tells you about Mr. Gates, who, by the way, CNN has been slobbering over this whole pandemic, having him on over and over to talk about Bill Gates' ideas for solving the pandemic and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear from Bill Gates anymore. We got some more super chats. Reese
Mac.
Reese, £5. I think that's the pound. It's important that we also primary our own side regularly to keep them in check, exactly for the same reason we should primary everyone else. I agree. If AOC and these people, if their idea of hardball is tweeting, then they should be primaried with the rest of them. Because right now, let's just call it what it is. AOC and the rest of them, their idea of hardball has been tweeting and sounded, hashtag Medicare. Like Ro Khanna, I love his tweets, but he doesn't seem willing to block anything. And that's a problem. Tony, another 49. Tony, email us. Apparently, if you have all this money under your pillow, we should talk.
Tony's so sweet. She says she's a nurse.
Oh, Tony, thank you. By the way, Jen, did I tell you? Well, maybe I shouldn't say this. I always am too honest. My older brother and his family, unfortunately, had a COVID exposure. So now they have to quarantine. So speaking of nurses and COVID, yeah, my family right now.
My
brother has had to quarantine. Nobody's.
All of them are quarantining.
Yeah, my niece, my nephew, and my brother and his wife. I mean, knock on wood, there's no symptoms for them right now, but they have to quarantine because they have has COVID. So, Tony, thank you. Another $49.99. You guys are worth the overtime. Please keep up the good work. Thank you for the text alert. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. Tony.
Yes, Tony. Good reminder.
Let me tell you about those text alerts, Tony. Jen, I just said, let me tell you.
Get out.
You tell them.
Well, I was going to
demonstrate.
Those
text alerts cost us.
Where did my phone go? Get out your phone and text COUP. Oops. Text to COUP to 370-370. Yes, text COUP to 370-370 to get breaking news, live alerts when we're in field, when we're in studio, when we're wherever, because you cannot rely on YouTube to tell you whatsoever. YouTube will leave you in the dark. So the way that we get around that is by texting you. So go ahead and do that right now. Whip your phone out while you're thinking about it. And also, they're taking away the short code, which is 370370, very soon. So definitely do that right away.
What does that mean? The short code.
So 370370 is called the short code. So that's like a shorter number that people can, pop into their phone. And that's the one that we text you from, which, is a very simple way of, like sending out an email or whatever. It's our mass texting system. So because the phone companies are extraordinarily greedy, they are now turning it into, if we wanted to keep a short code such as the one we have right now, we would have to pay $1,000. I believe it's like $1,000 startup fee and then $1,000 a month if we wanted to keep such a code, which we can't afford. So eventually it's going to be a regular phone number. So I would save your thumbs, some typing, and go ahead and text coup to 370370 right now, because eventually you'll have to type in 9 numbers, which is very taxing.
And Jen, what would you say, just so people know, if they should sign up as a Status Coup member, if they should donate to the GoFundMe? Are we spending like 500, 600, maybe more on this fucking text list every month?
Oh my God. You guys, you might think like, oh, yay, I'm getting a text from Status Coup. How fun. I'm going to watch the stream. Great. So fun. Let me get my cup of coffee, my tea. Really great. Which we love. We want you to do that. We want you to enjoy the text. But on the other side of this, we're spending $1 billion. So it is for 10,000 texts, it's $200. For every one person, it's 1 credit. We have right now around 1,400 people on our text list. So we run right through every time we go live, we send a text out. So we are running through those texts. We are spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month just so people are able to see our live streams at all. If we didn't text you guys to hop on our live streams, we would probably go live to like 80 people. That's it. That's all. Because that's all YouTube.
Because YouTube is not alerting. YouTube is not alerting people when we're live. And it's even gotten so bad, Jen, that I don't even see, at least on mine, I don't even see the subscribe button. And I don't even see the bell. And I've had people tell me, Jordan, I don't see the bell anymore. Where you're supposed to, next to the subscribe button, you're supposed to hover over the subscribe button, hover over the bell, which is next to the subscribe button. And there's 3 options. One is all notifications. Another one is like personalized. I don't know what the third is. So people have clicked on all notifications and then they go and it's not on all notifications anymore, or they don't even see the bell anymore. So I don't know what's going on. I don't want to spend, 2 hours on YouTube because I can spend 2 days on YouTube. But text us, join our text list. It doesn't cost you anything. It does cost us something, but we need people to know when we're live, and so it's an annoying expense, and it's a tough expense because we're not reining in money. We also, by the way, it costs us $600-700 depending on how often we go live. It costs us $600-700 a month just for our live view, which is our broadcast.
Oh, guys, I just today paid live view bills, and my heart hurts. My stomach hurts. Everything hurts.
Just so people know, the live view is what we use when we're in the field. It's like a mobile satellite. To get the GoFundMe. Thank you for the GoFundMe. We were able to get the top of the line one, which cost us like $25,000. Just full disclosure, the top of the line live view 600 cost us almost $25,000. But you need the right tech if you're going to do reporting in the field. CNN and them, they have satellite trucks, which are cost hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars. So just the text list, the data costs, and the server cost for the live view, you're talking potentially thousands of dollars for a small startup. And we do not take money from Jeffrey Katzenberg or George Soros or the
today's bills were over $2,000 for the live view. So that, like, people don't realize the expenses that go into this, and you guys are literally the only reason we're able to do what we do. So we really appreciate all of your super chats, your GoFundMe's, GoFundMe.com/Status Coup. Just so appreciated. Yeah, that's why we kind of reveal every once in a while. We don't harp on, how much we spend on things, but we do think it's important to every once in a while tell you what we are spending your money on, because we're definitely not like running out and shopping or like taking big salaries. We're certainly not, not by any means. Very, very modest salaries for sure. And we are literally just spending it on keeping the lights on and doing the journalism that you guys are paying us to do. It's expensive to run a business, to have a startup. So we really thank you and we really appreciate you. Our main business model, of course, as we always say, is membership. That's how we thrive and grow. And you guys get great stuff if you join, like access to our members only Discord, statuscoup.com/join, just $5 a month. If you're already a member, as always, GoFundMe.com/statuscoup. And yeah, you can help us out in so many ways. We've had people who want to have kind of maybe they're already members, they've already given to the GoFundMe, and they want to help out, especially in light of the fact that our YouTube income has so dramatically dropped. And they kind of want, without kind of a hands-off way, to donate every single month. So we can easily set up for you a monthly PayPal subscription where you can just say like, oh, hey, I want to donate $200 a month automatically. Like, we can totally set that up for you. Just email us info@statuscoup.com, $100 a month, 500, whatever, 50, whatever you want, info@statuscoup.com. If you want to help out monthly, that's definitely appreciated. As I said, our YouTube income is really not good right now, and that for a while was sustaining us. So it's hard.
And by the way, holy cow, we got some GoFundMes coming in.
Yay!
Here. Let me read a couple here. Thank you. Stay strong, Status Coup, $20. Appreciate it. Alan Martinson, $150. 10 minutes.
Woohoo!
Alan Martinson, $150. That comes after Anonymous gave $150. So thank you. Keep it coming. And by the way,
you guys are so great.
I just want to say, I talked to Jen over the weekend. I'll just keep it real. I'm only human myself. So all this work, which I love to do, has definitely taken a toll on me. I mean, my wife and I probably spent the first day together without me doing any work yesterday in months, because Jen and I have been working on I know we keep hinting at it, and we wish it was out today. God willing, it will be out this month. I mean, we've been working on just a fucking avalanche of an investigative story that, honestly, this story, if this was the New York Times or the Washington Post doing this story, they'd probably have 3 or 4 people on it, in addition to researchers. But they'd have 3 or 4 full-time reporters on it, in addition to researchers, where this story we've been working on and by the way, thank you again, Alan. That's incredibly generous, the $150, and Stay Strong, the $20. But this one story we've been working on, I've been trying to work on it. Jen's been trying to work on it, while not feeling well, while going live every day, while trying to keep the daily content going, while dealing with a lot of behind the scenes business shit that I'm not going to bore you with, but has been a lot. We're also working on launching a new website. So we have meetings on that. We're just doing way too much. And it's only 2 people really. And for long stretches, to be honest, it's been me recently because Jen has been sick, which is not her fault. It's just, it is what it is. So it really helps. I can't tell you enough. you know, I'm not criticizing anyone else in our sandbox, like Kyle and Jimmy and the rest of them, because we love everybody. But, you know, we don't just do videos and, you know, short commentary. You know, we do investigative reporting on top of trying to grow and keep content coming every day, including live streams and shorter videos and behind the scenes videos. It could burn a person out. It's burning me out, to be honest. So your support financially it's not just, it's desperate, you know, it's desperately needed. Let me just put it that way. It's desperately needed. But even if you can't support financially, just, I mean, Saturday night, for example, like I was just testing my new studio with Ty. I didn't expect to go live for an hour, but all of a sudden we had an audience and we got donations just for a test stream. We weren't even like talking about politics. And I think we had almost 300 people on Saturday night, like randomly. And we got, you know, some decent super chats and stuff. So just the support is so appreciated. And it really is it really is the morale booster I need. Cause, you know, recently it's been rough. I mean, I'm burnt out. There's a lot of miles on a lot of miles on these tires. So I appreciate all of your support and especially the donations, particularly during a pandemic. And again, you know, we don't want to put it on heavy, but if you can become a monthly member, or you could sign up as an annual member, you know, consider it, because you get some perks in addition to supporting us. We do a monthly members call, and we have a Discord, which is a lot of fun. You get access to our members only Discord, you know, some other perks as a member, and you could become a member for $5 a month. So if you can't, we get it. But if you can, you know, definitely consider it. Jen, before we bid adieu.
Well, hold on though. Hold your horses.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I wanted to, oh God, these AirPods. But I wanted to publicly say, because I haven't been back in a while, like, you guys don't realize how much Jordan has had to have on his back since November.
Sing it. Say it.
So yeah, so it's really Status Coup from the beginning has really been 2.5 people, as Jordan has said. It's mostly us and Colin. Then we have like Sam, who's awesome in the chat, who has a full-time job but helps out often. And you know, it's hard. And then when it's mostly a team of 2, and then I caught COVID from frickin' Rudy Giuliani's weird looking son, and weird frickin' RNC, which is terrible. And Rudy yelled at me in a weird hair dye, and it was awful. Then, you know, I've been down, which I thought would be for 2 weeks. And here we are in April. You know, I'm someone who I usually want to work through my illnesses, and I love what I do. I love Status Coup so much. I always say, like, this is my life's purpose. It doesn't feel like work. I wake up and like, I want to do this. I love you guys as the viewers. I love politics and news, and my passion is, you know, research and like working on Flint stories. Like, I want to get to the heart of corruption and like figure out what's going on. And so for me, I could not work for a long time. I just couldn't. So Jordan, for a team of 2, he took it on. Like, he had to do it all. I don't want to get emotional, but the things that he took on for Status Coup, like, he kept it all going. And not only that, like, every day he checked in and made sure I was okay. Often he was the only person that day who asked me how I was doing, because he's a good friend and a good person. And for the Flint story that we keep talking about, that's really going to turn into several stories. He drove by himself. Normally I would have gone. We would have split the driving. And it kills me that I couldn't go. But he drove 9 hours by himself to Michigan, worked nonstop, 9 hours back, worked nonstop, literally morning to night, working on Status Coup, keeping it going, working on research, working on contacting sources, trying to do my job, trying to do his job, trying to do investigations. You guys see these Washington Post reporters and New York Times reporters and even Intercept reporters, these investigations. Those reporters, that's their only job, and they often do it with 3 other reporters and researchers. Jordan did my job, his job, marketing, publishing, producing. He did literally 10 jobs in one, while being a good friend to me and while caring about me and while keeping everything going. So
while being criticized by fake progressives on other channels.
Yeah. So you guys kept us both going. Yeah, and I just neither of us could have gotten through all of this without you guys. My hope is that I can, now that I'm starting to feel the light, see the light a little bit more, that I can start to come back and take some stuff off of Jordan's plate and give back to him, because I feel horrible that he had to do all that for so long. I want you guys to know how much he did and how much you guys kept everything going and how important that is to me and how much I thank all of you and how much I thank Jordan. And I want you to know, even if I didn't reply to your emails or tweets or whatever, I saw them. Jordan forwarded them to me. There were times where I couldn't, I was too sad or sick to go through them. He made sure I saw them, or he would tell me about them. So thank you. And anyway, I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I really am saying all this because it's positive, and think about it. If Jordan is doing all of that through me being sick, and what is he getting out of that? What is he getting out of this? It's the passion of journalism. It's a drive to do this work. It's not for anything. It's not because it's just a job. It's not because it's just whatever. It's not to make money, certainly, for himself. It's because this is, I don't want to say a calling, but it's a passion, it's a purpose, and that's what it is for both of us. So what?
A crusade.
A crusade against corruption. So that's what you guys are a part of, and I want you to feel part of that. Status Coup is here for you guys. It's you guys are part of it. You guys fund us. We do this for you. We do this for giving the microphone back to people. So that's my long way of saying thank you to Jordan. Thank you to you guys. I'm not 100%, but I'm gonna get there. Absolutely. Anyway, next YouTube guy.
All right, cool. So it's dinner time here on the East Coast. I don't know if I think we got every super chat. Jen, it was very good to have you back. I hope we could do it more often as you're feeling good.
Yeah. And I'll be doing more because you need to take a break, a week-long break, and then you need to go on a longer break later.
Right. All right. I will see you. I'll probably see you back tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.
Bye, guys.